What is up, everyone? I am Rafael. This is XP Galore here with my buddy. Introduce yourself, buddy.
Hi, my name is Buddy, aka Marcus.
There it is. And we're back to talk about some random stuff. Exciting news. There's so much chaos going on and so much amazing stuff coming out. What you got for us, Marcus? I got a few.
Speaking of randomness and stuff coming out, it reminds me that I'll mention this very briefly. I have been paying for YouTube TV for a while, so I can have access to TV now. It's mostly so that I can just kind of casually watch football. But
you watch sports ball?
well, I watch Tennessee football on Sundays only. I don't watch college or anything. I do it because it's
okay, for the local thing because you're there.
Yeah. And so I was doing some little cleaning up around the apartment while I was waiting for us to start recording, and I started watching 60 Minutes, which I haven't watched in a decade.
Okay.
And I only watched their first story, but it turns out, spoiler alert, the ports in California, in Los Angeles.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Absolutely terrible.
You saw that? Oh my god. I feel like they're trying to make the economy just blow up. That is confusing as hell.
Yeah,
there's nowhere to dock. There's no space at all. Where are they putting all their supplies? Just I heard something about they're trying to open the ports here at Florida just to make space for them to travel on this side of the U.S. Just to relieve the chaos over there in Cali and that side of West Coast. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, they're trying to offset that, and they say that one of the craziest things I heard was they interviewed this guy who he runs a toy business, a toy delivery business in Chicago, and of course he imports all of his toys. And not only is his stuff delayed for up to 45 days at least, his containers that he buys, because it gets delayed at no fault of his, he's still getting charged storage fees for those.
Oh no.
He said that he paid $1 million in September alone just to
that's
just
ridiculous.
To have the store. Yeah,
$1 million. What kind of toys are those?
Well, just a giant container of toys that he could then ship out to people,
That's insane. Well, that's awesome. Life is awesome right now.
Yeah, this is why I don't like watching the news, because then I'm just reminded how inadequate things can be.
It's hey, this is something bad's happening right now in the world. Quick, let's make it worse. Over here, this is also happening that's bad. Yeah, that's why I don't watch the news. Yeah. It's it can get a little depressing, just a little bit. But hey, I saw some positive stuff from Disney Plus. Did you hear about Disney Plus?
I caught the highlights from Disney Plus Day. Yeah. What's something you're super excited about from that?
X-Men 97, buddy.
I was gonna say the same thing.
I grew up with that baby, yo. I'm super excited. They're gonna continue it where the animated series ended in 97, I believe.
I think that's the plan, yeah.
But I'm curious, what's the animation? Is it going to still be hand-drawn? Is it going to be CGI like they did What If? I'm very curious.
I don't know. I'd be real curious to see. I'd like to think that because they titled it X-Men 97, that they'll try to match that art style as best as they can.
Do you want it to be bad art style on purpose, or would you like it to be updated? Just they can still wear the same outfits, the iconic comic book Wolverine and all that. But would you like it to look cheesy?
Yeah, kind of.
I kind of do, and I kind of don't. I kind of want to see an updated version of it.
Interesting.
No, you don't feel that?
I'm not sure, because I have such a nostalgic tie to both that show and then also the Spider-Man show that was around the same time. That was on Fox.
Yes, I love the Spider-Man. They used to do some crossovers, correct?
Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if X-Men itself did the crossovers, but I know Spider-Man had some of those X-Men characters come over.
Yeah, especially Wolverine. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, they came out with a lot of news, dude. They're coming up with another animated Spider-Man, I believe. It's going to be freshman years.
Yes.
The Agatha from WandaVision, she's going to get her own show. I loved her acting. I just don't know what they're going to go with it. That's kind of she's a villain. So is it another Loki style? I don't know. And they confirmed that ahead of the release of the first few episodes of Hawkeye, they're already starting to film or going to be filming a spinoff from Hawkeye called Echo. Look at that, dude. They're set.
And I think Echo if I'm not mistaken, is technically who Haley Steinfeld is playing in the Hawkeye show.
Oh, well, wow. They're just going to keep making spin-offs of each character that they're introducing.
They're going to spin off.
This is going to be another Arrowverse. Too many shows to watch. You're like, I'm lost. I don't know what's going on anymore.
You know, I thought about it too. Like, I think whenever I do my MCU rewatch next year, I think this time I'm going to include all of those Netflix shows and like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because I don't really consider them like the core MCU, but there are some lists that incorporate them. So I'm like, well, yeah, if I start early, I'll have plenty of time to get through it all, you know?
Well, now we know there's a multiverse, and that could have happened in another multiverse. So technically, it kind of can be canon, but it's not.
That's such a cheap answer.
That's a cheap. I know it is, but you know that's the case. Yeah. That's what really it is, because they're saying that's not considered canon. The Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., that was just a spinoff.
Yeah,
it started out somewhat touching base, and then it just drifted off doing its own thing. But yeah, there's a lot, dude. Marvel Zombies. What do you think about that? Zombies, bro. Marvel Zombies.
I mean, they kind of already did something like that with an episode of What If, so...
Yeah. Did you ever read any of the comic books of the zombies, or do you know the gist of it?
No, I did not read any.
Okay, long story short, they kind of keep their mental state. They're aware that they're zombies. They can talk and communicate with one another, but they have a desire to eat flesh. Like, they're still themselves, but they devour everything on one universe. And Spider-Man is a zombie. And he eats, I think in the comic book, he eats his Aunt May, and he eats I think he does eat Mary Jane. And then they find a way to go through a multiverse. They kind of found a way to stop eating flesh, but then they found out there's a way to go to another multiverse, and then there's more flesh in that other multiverse, and they start devouring more people again. I don't know how gory they're going to make it, if they're going to keep it on point with the comic books. Very interesting. It's very fascinating. But is it going to be gory? Disney Plus, they were kind of soft with that zombie version of What If. So,
I think it'll be kind of tame.
It's gonna be tamed. I really think so too. So what are they gonna do? You know, they can't just make zombies, and they can't be like, oh. So they're gonna make them talk, kind of like what they did in the comic books. If not, we're just gonna hear a lot of grunting.
Yeah, I don't know, buddy. Yeah. I don't know. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. I don't know if I mentioned this in the last episode, but I did go see Eternals in theater.
I did not watch it yet. No spoilers.
I won't spoil it. No, I'll be honest. I don't think I liked it as much as I liked Shang-Chi, but I did like it. It felt a little off to me. I think, unfortunately, it might have suffered a bit under the weight of its own star power. Like I heard. Yeah. And also, like, I haven't seen any of those director's films, like her other ones. I know she's been making a name for herself. Her name is Chloe Zhao. I think Disney was trying to make a Chloe Zhao film.
Okay.
And I think her films are a little bit more stoic in nature. And so trying to do that tone, but then try to add in like the Marvel elements into it, like humor and action and all that, might have felt a bit odd. But other than that, I still thought it was good. Like, at this point, I ignore all red flags with the MCU. I'm married to it, and so even if a film is like bad, like, I still don't think that it would be terrible. Now,
it fixes itself throughout the storytelling.
Does. I do want you to see it because I do want to talk about some things with it, but I won't mention what those things are right now. But
okay, well, I'll watch it. I've been very busy. Unfortunately, there was a lot going on in my personal life.
Yeah,
but now that I'm getting that free time back, I'm gonna probably go soon to watch it, because I don't want any spoilers. I've been very careful not to look at anything, and you know how the feeds are online. They're like, oh,
they're
that
awful.
After credits. Did you see about that special blah blah blah? And I'm like, no. I don't want to know nothing. Don't say anything. I don't even want to say it here, just because I'm afraid I'll spoil something that I don't know. Right. But yeah, that's how I feel. I'm like, no. So you said it was meh.
I think it was good. It just felt off. It just, something about it was just like...
Felt forced, you think? Because there was so much going on previously on the MCU?
I don't even know if it's that. I think its initial purpose, or like what it's in the MCU for, I think it did that right.
Okay.
I think it was like the storyline felt a bit off, but what it brings to the table is good. So,
Good. I guess this is just a build up for something greater, right?
perhaps, yes.
Okay. Well, since we're still talking about superheroes, because I'm excited, there's a lot of news about superheroes. You saw the Moon Knight?
I saw the Moon Knight preview. Yeah.
Okay. She-Hulk?
I saw that. Well, I didn't see that video, but I saw the like screen caps, and I saw
same. And Miss Marvel. Okay, cool. This is a lot. There's a lot of characters coming out.
Disney Plus. Well, I knew that all that stuff was coming. But to see like official videos was pretty cool. And Disney Plus is doing some really cool things for the fans. Like, I don't know if you heard about this either, but they announced that I think up to 13 films, including some of the Marvel films, like the MCU films, that had filming in IMAX for the theater. They're bringing those IMAX filmed formatted scenes into the movies that are already on Disney Plus. So like Shang-Chi had some scenes that were filmed in IMAX. So when you stream Shang-Chi now, you can watch like some of the scenes are going to be in that IMAX format, which previously wasn't a thing.
That's great. I watched Shang-Chi actually today. I rewatched it and I'm like, dude, this movie is so great.
It was beautiful. So good. It was so good.
So good. I'm so happy that it succeeded. I'm very excited to see where all the other characters are going to go. That new phase, was it phase 4, correct? I believe they're in right now.
We're in phase 4, yes.
Yeah, man. It's very ambitious. I'm kind of scared. It's kind of one of those things that, do I want it to end or should they continue?
I had that thought too, because like phase 1 through 3, despite all the branching storylines of each character, like you knew what it was leading up to. Like,
of course.
You knew it was the Infinity War story arc. You knew that's what it was. This time around, there's a lot of other things happening, which I'm sure is like very reminiscent of what the comic books do. You know, there's never just one big storyline. There's always like 5.
Yeah.
So there's a lot going on, I think. I'm real curious to see how well they can execute this.
Yeah, and last but not least, since we're still talking about superheroes, this one's a video game related superhero, and it's the Marvel's Avengers. They showed a little teaser trailer of Spider-Man. It's a cinematic little opening of Spider-Man, only on the PlayStation, which is great, because that's what I got. Sorry, Microsoft. Maybe eventually. I don't know if they're gonna ever come out with Spider-Man on Microsoft, but it looks pretty cool. I did not like much the Marvel's Avengers because it felt like a weird beat 'em up loot crate system, and it was very stale gameplay. It's not bad, but it's not great. It looks beautiful, but I actually preferred Guardians of the Galaxy. That's the route they should have gone with Avengers. So maybe in the future we'll get a better Marvel character spin-off. Like, they should just focus on the individual characters. They'll do better that way. But yeah, that was pretty cool. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan, so I'm super excited about playing as Spider-Man. I have not touched that game since, so it's gonna give me a reason to jump back on it. You played it?
No, I don't think I'm gonna
skip
play
that
that.
one.
Yeah. I played a demo of it. I think you could have like downloaded a demo for it or something, and I played it, and I was like, I feel like this is all over the place. Like, I have no idea what's going on.
It's numbing. It's like it's not too creative when it comes to combat. Like the buttons are similar. Characters have different moves, but it's the same button kind of format. So it's just repetition. It feels a little repetitive when you're in combat. That's my opinion. So if somebody else feels differently and they think that game is amazing, graphics are amazing. The story was kind of cool, but then it felt like copy paste a lot. So that's the only downfall about it. But it's a fun game. It was fun. I gave it a chance. I had all my favorite voice actors in it, actresses, and well, the cutscenes are well made. The story is really cool. It's when you start playing it, it gets weird. That's all I gotta say.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah. I still don't think I want to do it. Like,
come on, there's multiplayer.
that doesn't sway me at all.
We can beat it together.
Other than
No.
that, is there anything new that you've been playing here recently?
Okay, so I finished Guardians of the Galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
That game was phenomenal. I think it's been getting like the reviews have been like 8 out of 10. You know, like pretty high up there. I think I give it an 8.5 because I had fun. It was very fun. Music was amazing. Gameplay was amazing. The simplicity of it, but then it feels like I was playing another of my favorite games. Like I don't know if you guys heard, but I sat down and played Mass Effect 1 through 3 all the way through, and it had that same feeling when you're talking to each character, trying to build a relationship, friendship wise, and then you can see the bonding of the characters as you play along near the end of the game. So I felt that, you know, space opera adventure that I'm missing out since I don't have no more Mass Effect. And that's what made it really fun for me. Graphics beautiful, storytelling very awesome. Did not expect any of it, and the humor is still up there. It's Guardians of the Galaxy, so I'm very happy with it. And another game I started, I believe, was like yesterday or the day before. I am giving Andromeda a chance. Yeah.
I think you should. I didn't dislike Andromeda.
Now you're right. You're right. What my problem was that I tried to jump on it right after Mass Effect 3, and it was so different that it left a really bad taste in my mouth. Like, I'm like, this is not the same game. I'm not having fun. I see the universe, the characters, I see the race, but it doesn't feel like that's them. So I put it down for a very long time. So once I beat Guardians of the Galaxy, I was like, you know what? I don't have any new games. Let me just give it another shot since I didn't play Mass Effect for so long. And it's actually pretty fun. I have to come in terms that it's not the same game. And that's what's getting me through it.
Agreed.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So it's not a bad game, guys. It really isn't. It's just do not play it after playing the Mass Effect trilogy because you will feel a weird sensation. It's weird. It's like, I don't want to say disappointment, but that's the feeling I got. But it's a good game. So now that I got it, like, you know, I let it sit down for a while. My mind is fresh. I'm not thinking about 1, 2, and 3. And when I started playing Andromeda, I'm like, wow, this is actually very unique, very different, but it's kind of fun. I just had to go through the beginning stages of the storytelling, and once I got a decent crew and I'm exploring now, very fun. I'm like, okay, I'll give it a shot. I'll let you know how they go.
There are some fan theories out there that this next Mass Effect that's being developed right now is going to have some tie-ins with Andromeda.
Now, I have been thinking about that, and that's the reason why I'm giving Andromeda a chance, because I watched the teaser trailer for that Mass Effect continuing. It did not mention if it's part 4, if it's part 5, because technically part 4 is Andromeda, even though it doesn't have a number. And I'm afraid that they're going to tie in some lore, and I'm not familiar with what's going on. So I'm like, you know what? I have to beat this game. That way I'm caught up. I know exactly these characters. So if there is a tie-in, I can be one of those that gets excited. I'm like, oh my God, it's a Pathfinder. You know, it's Ryder. Right. You know, like just something simple like that. Right. I'll be like, oh, cool. Or they found a way to come back from Andromeda to the Milky Way. And that's my fan theory is what happened on 3 could not have affected Andromeda. So if they come back, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying without spoiling anything? The tech is there. You understand?
Yeah, I do. I don't
because
remember...
the choice I made affected what the future will hold, and I don't know how they're gonna. I don't want to spoil anything. Let's just leave it at that.
What I'm worried about though is like I don't remember how long it took them.
To get shit ton.
Yeah, it took them a long time to get from the Milky Way to Andromeda, so I don't know.
Roughly 600 and something years. So, unless there's time travel, I don't know. Right?
Now we're going in the weeds here a bit.
Yeah. Hey, anything is possible with sci-fi. You never know.
As far as like stuff I've been playing, we can get into some like the beta stuff a little bit later. But I do want to let you know, because I know you've been riding my butt about Nintendo games.
No.
I don't get too excited. I started Bayonetta recently.
I'll accept that. It's an awesome game. It's super wacky fun.
Yeah, I'm trying to do like a chapter at a time. I'm like chapter 3, I think, or something like that. Okay. I like it. I really like it. I like the lore of it, and the gameplay mechanics aren't that bad. I remember I had tried playing this game years ago, but that was when I was doing my Switch in handheld mode all the time, and it felt kind of weird. But playing it on a pro controller now feels a lot better, and on a bigger screen too. So yeah, so I've done it. I've started a Nintendo game just for you, buddy.
Super excited. I'm legit excited. Because now I get to talk to you about Nintendo games. At least one. Once you beat that one, it has a sequel though.
Yeah, I know. I'll get to Bayonetta 2, and then hopefully I'll be ready and caught up by the time Bayonetta 3 eventually releases.
There you go. That's a baby step. I accept that one. We still have Metroid Prime.
I don't know when I'm going to find the time to get into the Metroid. we'll see.
Metroid Prime is awesome. I hope they come up with a trilogy for the Switch. Like, just port it. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm waiting for. I remember the Metroid Prime games when I never played them, but when I had my GameCube, I remember them being popular.
So beautiful. The soundtrack is amazing. I love that trilogy so much, dude.
So the other title that's released that I've been playing a lot of, and this game has like super surprised me with how much I'm loving it, is Deathloop.
Yeah, I heard amazing things about that game.
That game, I thought it was going to be one thing, and it is this thing, but it is executed so well, and there's so much more to it than just your normal linear arc of whatever. Mm-hmm. So if I had to very briefly describe it, it's an action adventure with a time loop / roguelite angle to it.
There's another rogue game. See, it's becoming a thing.
But inside of that, because it's not like a linear, like a 2D scrolling kind of game, mm-hmm. there's all this room to do all these other things. And another thing that I was really worried about with the time aspect of it was, I played a game like Outer Wilds a year or two ago, where that game, like from the time your character spawns, you're on a clock, and once that clock hits 0, everything resets, right? And so I thought that's kind of what this was going to be. But no, this game, Deathloop, has 4 different time periods throughout the day. It's morning, noon, afternoon, and night. And there's 4 districts that you can run around in and explore in the game. And once you go into a district, you have as much time as you want to explore and look around and do everything you want to do. Time doesn't advance until you move on to a new district.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's so great. And if you end up dying completely, then you start the whole day over. Or if you finish all 4 time zones and you leave after the nighttime, then you start a whole new time zone. But they have like a mechanic of allowing you to keep weapons and stuff that you find, the powers that you find. There's a way that you can hang on to those after you die. Yeah.
You don't get too punished.
Right. And beyond that, man, like the script writing in it is so good. Like, and the conversations that happen, everything feels really unique. I do get a kind of a BioShock / Dishonored vibe from it.
Okay, that's actually a very good comparison then.
Well, Arcane.
They made
Arcane made Dishonored, so
they made Dishonored, but BioShock, I love BioShock.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I highly recommend it, and I would say don't let the idea of like dying and restarting intimidate you. The game actually does really well with that. That
is awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I looked at it. I was thinking about trying it out. There's so many games coming out now. I'm very excited.
No. I did also try out Battlefield 2042 just today, actually, because if you have Game Pass Ultimate, then you have the EA Play subscription tied into that as well. The regular EA Play, because they have an EA Play Pro, but you have regular EA Play built into that. And if you have that, then you can play Battlefield 2042 for 10 hours.
Ooh, is it going to be for free when it's released, or is it one of those that you still have to purchase
you still
the game?
have to buy it. Yeah.
Oh, I got excited for a second.
No, but you can at least play the first. You can at least play 10 hours of it free, and I won't even say the first 10 hours because like there's no campaign to it. It's all multiplayer.
Oh, multiplayer. That's still great. That's actually a good test.
But man, when I jumped into that and did the 64 versus 64 player conquest mode, it reminded me so much of how much fun I had with like Battlefield 4. Except the maps are so huge, dude. Like the zones to capture are so like just so spread out all over the place, and the gun firing to me felt good. It's buggy. There's still some bugs to it. There's lag. There's all kinds of stuff, but
it's ambitious.
It is ambitious, and it's not technically even out yet. Like because you have the EA Play thing, you get it at like 7 days in advance or whatever. But yeah, man, I really like playing that game. It's just there's some parts of it I need to like maybe watch a learner's guide on, because they have not only do they have like the regular conquest mode that you probably need to brush up on, but like they have a sort of Escape from Tarkov mode in it now, where you're coming in with just 4 players and you have to steal like these data drives and then extract with them. So there's like that mode to it too, which is it's pretty cool. So yeah, am I gonna buy this game? I might. I don't know. It seems kind of fun. I don't think it's gonna necessarily fully replace something like Apex Legends for me, but it's a different type of game. But and plus, like a conquest mode match takes like 25 minutes. So, what? Yeah, man.
So with it, when you die, you just respawn, right? It's not one of those.
You respawn, but you don't. But you don't just randomly respawn. Like if you've never played a Battlefield game before, you should know that like with this, you can pick where you respawn, whether it's in a zone that your team has captured, or you like the game divides you up into squads of 4.
Yes.
So you can spawn on your squad. You can spawn in any personnel carrying vehicle, whether it's like a helicopter or ATV or something like that.
That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, man. And it is hectic. It is all out warfare hectic.
That's great. That's actually great. That's good. I thought it was going to be stale and just dead space, no, just since you have to travel so much because the maps are large. But no, it sounds like it's going to be a chaotic war. Awesome.
Yeah, man. I kind of look forward to it. I really do. So
I did pre-order it just in case, because that was one of the games that I was looking into that possibly I would try. I'm like, I miss that style of gameplay, and I can't wait for Halo because of it. Because those are the games I grew up with. It was Battlefield, Halo, and I'm not really a war guy, like a war game guy. I like playing sci-fi stuff. But Battlefield, their multiplayer was so cool because it was so massive. It was always fun because it was massive. Right. And just having all the vehicles and trying out all the vehicles, it was just so much fun. It was very different at the time for me. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. It's awesome.
It will. Very briefly, bits of news I do want to get into. First of all, this kind of ties into a future episode that we will be recording on Tuesday, the 16th of November. Jeff Keighley, the head of the Game Awards, will be releasing the official nominees for the Game Award categories.
Yeah.
So that means that you all can go to the Game Awards website and vote on these categories. Full disclosure, if you don't know how the voting system works, it's the vote weight is 90% from the juries, which are like 100 international media outlets that cover games in all forms of fashion, and 10% of that does come from us that vote on it. So it's only 10%, but it's still fun to do. So I am definitely going to be taking some deep considerations onto who I think is going to win each category, though there is technically one category that's out now. It's kind of a self-serving one in my opinion, but like they're having you vote on the best moment from the Game Awards 2020. Yeah. Which, I mean, there's the 5 categories are real fast. Or in the Game Awards last year, they announced Sephiroth as a contender in Super Smash Bros.
Oh, that was great.
There was the London Philharmonic Orchestra performing the Super Mario Brothers medley for their 35th anniversary.
Which ironically, right? That's Nintendo.
Yes,
It's not ironic, but
that is Nintendo.
It's Nintendo. You hear that? They played an orchestra of a Nintendo game.
Games.
That's of games. That's very popular.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, continue.
They also announced a full reboot of the series Perfect Dark last year.
Yeah. Wow. I forgot.
Yeah.
It's been that long. I forgot.
They also announced the new Mass Effect game is in development.
Oh my god, I forgot. They may show something.
Maybe. We'll see. I don't know.
Oh, I hope so. I completely forgot they sometimes show teasers.
Yeah. And then they had Eddie Vedder, the lead singer from Pearl Jam. He had performed a acoustic version of Pearl Jam's song Future Days, which got incorporated into The Last of Us Part 2. So they did that as a sort of tribute to the song, and it was a cool little moment when Eddie, like, he wasn't there in person. He sang it from a studio in Seattle, but he like sang the song, and then he was like, man, it's just, I'm really humbled. It's really cool that my song gets used this way. And
yeah,
you know, it's, and that, I guess, didn't Last of Us come out in 2020, last part 2?
You know what? I think it did, but that year sucked so bad. It was a blur for me.
Well, yeah, I do remember watching that moment from the Game Awards last year, and it kind of got me in the feels a bit. So that's the one I voted for. Yeah,
Last of Us 2, I believe it was. And Final Fantasy 7 came out, remake, right? 2020 as well.
That's right, it did, yeah.
Yeah, now I remember that. Those were the games that saved me from going insane. Final Fantasy, Last of Us, and Resident Evil came out. I think it was 3, the remake, right? Was it 3 or was it 2? I think it was 2.
3 would have come out in 2020 because Village came out this year.
Okay, so yeah, then I knew it was a Resident Evil, and I remember the intro of that game was talking about the zombie invasion, and it reminded me of the year 2020. I'm like, oh man, this is too similar. I don't know. It's too close. But yeah, those were great games, and I'm very excited to see who's going to win the awards for this year and what's to come.
Yeah, they did announce that the amount of reveals that are coming, I think, like games that are revealed, are going to be in the double digits this year.
Oh, I really can't wait, dude. I don't know what to do. I really don't. What am I going to wear? I don't know.
You better find something fancy to wear, man. You better dress up nice.
That regular shirt with the tie, that print. That's what I'm going to wear.
That's so tacky. No.
That's not tacky. It's very professional.
I want to see a picture before, like, at least a week ahead of time so that I can approve your outfit. Thank you.
All right, fine. I wear a bow, a vest, and a fedora hat. Is that good enough?
Classy.
Is that good enough for you?
I need to see it first, but okay.
All right. No pants, because I'm not going to stand up. Nobody's going to know.
Okay, but then you get real excited about something and you stand up.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a surprise for everyone. That's going to be funny. I feel like I'm going to freak out with a couple of announcements. Now, if they come out with a twist and they come out with something that we didn't expect and we love, then I'll get excited too. But that does not happen much for me. It really doesn't. I think it only happens with Zelda. What was the game that got you excited?
Just in general?
But yeah, like, those that you don't expect. Like, you're like, oh, what's the teaser trailer for this thing? What's going on? Who's making this? And then, like, truth be told, if I respected Mass Effect prior to seeing that teaser that the story was going to continue, I think I would have freaked the hell out. I watched it after the fact, after I beat the trilogy, and I got the emotion that I was supposed to get when seeing that teaser trailer, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
So what was yours? Have you ever seen a teaser trailer of something that you did not expect at all, and then you see it, you're like, oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah.
I want it.
Yeah, the 2018 the 2018 God of War. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remember that live orchestra.
Yeah.
And then they started showing the boy. Oh, goosebumps. Yeah, that was a good one.
That's a recent one. I'm sure like at an E3 or something, there was a Metal Gear preview that I saw that I was just like, oh my God. Yeah,
Damn, I haven't had that in a while. A Metal Gear treat.
At this point, I kind of just try not to speculate too much, and I just like to be pleasantly surprised by anything.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't try to expect to see something if I can help it. So yeah,
Sakurai's gonna come back. Sakurai's gonna come back, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, Sora's not the last Super Smash Brothers Ultimate character." Bam! And he throws another one in there.
It's me. I'm the last character.
That'd be funny.
So the other quick tidbit of news, just because it's kind of been at the forefront of many people's conversations here the past few days, is the fact that things aren't going so great over at Rockstar, huh? With
you don't say. You don't say.
Yeah, they came out with their GTA Trilogy Definitive Edition, right?
You sure? Because when I went back online, it wasn't there.
Yeah, they got pulled from the PC store on day one.
On day one. That is so sad. That is sad.
It's incredibly buggy. Looking over an article from TheVerge.com, they said, especially with the PC version, that there are files in it that were unintentionally included in those versions.
Ouch.
But that's not the only thing. People have complained about just constant like frame drops, graphical issues. A lot of people are comparing it to the way Cyberpunk launched.
No, that's no bueno. That's not good. I've seen the graphics comparison. Some of them hold up, like when they air quotes updated the graphics. And there's certain characters that just did not translate well when updated.
What's funny too is that they also pulled like the old versions of those games off of the store too.
I know they did because they wanted this one to sell.
Yeah, and then it turns out it's not doing so hot.
Oh, that's so sad. They'll fix it, but that is sad. That must be a punch in the gut.
I never had a plan on playing these anyways. Like Vice City was my favorite out of that era. I never played much GTA San Andreas because I think I mentioned this on an episode a while back, but that San Andreas was the version that you couldn't play on a regular PS2. You had to have the Slim.
The Slim, you said?
Yeah, you had to have the Slim version to play that one, and I never had one of those. So I could never just play it anyways. But I did play through and finish GTA 3 several times, but I remember Vice City being more my vibe.
I love Vice City. I think that was our generation. That's why I had certain music that I was like, oh man, this is so nostalgic.
Yeah.
Great music.
So for a GTA 6, there are rumors that Vice City is going to be the location for it.
We'll see.
Which I never finished.
Hopefully it won't crash.
Yeah, and I never finished 5 either, so...
I got 5 just for the multiplayer online. Seriously. I tried the intro of the game, and I heard it was great. It's not that it's just I think I grew out of GTA.
Well, Grand Theft Auto is just a huge game, especially Grand Theft Auto 5. It is so big, and I tried it. I liked it, but I never finished it because there was just so much that I was doing, and that was during a time when I was trying to play like 2 or 3 games at once, and it was just like, I'm running out of the space for this. Like, I can't...
Yeah, it's massive. It takes like the majority of your hard drive. Kind of like Red Dead Redemption 2. That thing is like 100 gigs, and it keeps updating, and I'm like, dude, it's like I delete it, but then I was like, dude, if I want to play this game again, I have to re-download this, and it takes forever. Oh man, they got to find a way of not having to take half of our hard drive space with these new games and these new updates and all that stuff. Like, it's getting a little out of hand how much it requires to play a new video game. Dude, they're gonna have to give us like 10 terabytes starting out.
Yep, indeed. Anyways, so barring all that, I think the thing we wanted to kind of really start talking about tonight, it's a subject we've like sort of touched on a little bit, but we haven't officially talked about it, is about the idea around beta testing video games and our thoughts on it. What advantages I think we feel it brings, if there's anything about it we don't like, and just the idea of it in general. I brought it up because over the past 2 weeks, I've probably played through like 3 or 4 different closed betas for games.
Damn.
Yeah, they kind of all just hit at once. So to give you a very quick list, I played a MMO Diablo style game called Lost Ark that has already been out for a couple of years, actually, in South Korea, but it is making its way to America via Amazon Games. They're the ones publishing it. So they were doing a closed beta to do network testing and multiplayer and that kind of thing, which is a lot of fun. It is actually a really dope game. I tried out the Cycle Frontier, which is sort of a futuristic take on like the kind of game that Escape from Tarkov is. Drop in, fulfill contracts with corporations, get loot and supplies, and get out and without dying. So it sounds interesting. I was not a fan of that game. It felt a little too generic to me.
Was it?
Yeah. And then yesterday, I got to participate in one of the 3-hour time slots for a closed network test for Elden Ring.
Ooh, that's very interesting. And what did you think?
I think that I'm definitely sold on it.
Really?
Yeah, I'll give it a good go when it releases in late February.
So what's intriguing about it? The gameplay, the graphics, all the above? Well, what is it?
I was worried that it was going to feel like some of the Souls games of the past, which I'm not a fan of.
Me neither.
But this one felt... it still feels like a Souls game. It really does. But I don't know. There's things about it that seem to make it a little easier for certain people to play. And
was it like was it Sekiro?
It's not as fast paced as Sekiro is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely more slower like the Souls games are, but you have a lot of wiggle room and a lot of room to just move around in because of the fact that you're on like a sandbox map. So you get to do that, and I think the character and level design looks really cool. And I don't know, man. I feel like I'm ready to tackle that. So
yeah, what were you playing it on? PC, console,
PlayStation
5?
Mm-hmm.
That's very cool. That's very cool. See, what I enjoy about the betas, the idea of betas, is that they let you taste the game before it's released. And not only you get to taste a little bit of the game, you can put your input about it and you can give them your feedback on what you like, dislike, if it lagged, too glitchy on this area, what they can improve. And sometimes they listen and they get to improve the game before it's released. I did not have that growing up. You get a shitty game, it's a shitty game.
Yeah, and there was no online updates either. You'd have to like rebuy the game if you had a problem with it.
No, there wasn't. It's like you get what it is. Remember, I grew up in a time when I used to get the magazines that came with the demo.
Yeah, me too.
I thought that was the coolest thing ever. I'm like, oh, you get demos, or you buy a game that's attached to a demo inside. And it was super exciting to replay those demos over and over and over again. But there was no way to tell them, hey, this game is cool, but can you change the control scheme of it because it's kind of weird, or hey, it's glitchy over here, or you couldn't give much feedback. It was very limited. And now we have this that, hey, let's try out this game way ahead of its release date. We know it's a beta. We know it's not completely done, and there will be glitches, so we can't be picky about it. But that's the point. We're helping them develop the game. That is super cool, and I think it's extremely important that we support these beta tests and we do give that feedback to the developers so we can help. Now we're a part of the making of the game. If you think about it, you really are a part of it. It's a team effort.
That's true. Yeah, I'll say that it's good to be able to get a first look at it, get your hands on it. As a fan of certain games, it's really cool to be able to do that too, because then you get to sort of play it, even if it's like a rough version, you still get to play it before other people do. And so that's really cool. I think the reason some people do that, if you notice that there are some corporations that give access to the closed beta if you pre-order the game.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that it's a way for them to get some of that money ahead of time.
True. True.
So that they can say, hey, you get to play the game early. Like, playing something early has always been sort of a staple of pre-ordering something, especially when the age of like downloading things digitally came about too. You could say, hey, you know, get to play this 10 days early if you pre-order the Super Duper Ultra Instinct Mega Gundam Deluxe Edition.
Jeebus, that was a very long title. That's super extra rare.
Yeah, that's that $300 edition.
Yeah, well, that's how they get you too, because now it's about pre-ordering. You get extra content too. It's just maybe a DLC skin and all that for the support of the beta. I remember when I played, what was it, Halo? I believe it was Halo 4. I got that badge on the multiplayer that you were a beta tester. And Destiny. Destiny did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You played Destiny 1, they give you like a little badge that you were like a beta tester, which was like, oh, look at it's like bragging rights. It was really cool. And that community of helping creating the game, it's super fun. It's like I said, it's like playing a demo of a game that's not completed, but at least you get to tell, like, you get to share your thoughts of it and hopefully help improve it.
I think a concept that like really makes me sort of chuckle a bit is the idea of certain games that like perpetually stay in beta.
Oh yeah, was that PC, like, was that space game? What was it called?
Yeah, Star Citizen. It's like
Star Citizen. That's been out for like since my daughter's age.
Yeah, it's in a perpetual alpha.
How many years was that already?
I think it's been like at least 7.
Okay, okay. I exaggerated. My daughter's 14, but it might as well be. It might as well be 14 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, there's some games that, you know, they're ambitious and they want to put a lot of love in their game, and then these new techs come out, like new technology, and they want to improve the existing game, and that delays the game even further. So you just got to be very careful on which games. Like, oh, didn't that happen with what's his name, Duke Nukem Forever?
Oh, did it?
Yeah, Duke Nukem Forever. They had it. What was it? They kept making the game and improving on the gameplay mechanics, and then another game was released and like, oh, that's a great idea, we should implement that in our game. And then they kept rehashing the gameplay and the story because of all the games that were being released at the time. But then, you know, it was being dropped, it was being postponed, it was being paused, and then eventually it got to another hands, and they were like, you know what, let's just release it. It's been forever. Mm-hmm. And it you can feel how it aged because the gameplay wasn't as, like, it didn't catch up. So
right,
that's what happens. You know, you see another game, you can get inspired, but at the same time, it can hinder you. You're like, oh, can we do that, or should we do that? And that was like how many generations of consoles? I believe it skipped 2 console generations before it was released finally, and that's why it felt somewhat outdated too.
Yeah, I can't. There's other games that have come to mind. Like, I can't remember exactly which ones, but like I know there's some that have literally, it's taken them like like Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is a good example too.
That's a good example. Yeah,
it skipped at least a generation, if not 2, in order to get pushed out, and then it still wasn't even ready. I wonder if that game could have benefited from beta testing.
Did it have any?
I don't know. If it did, I didn't sign up for it. So
you know what? Come to think of it, I think they had this thing that you couldn't touch the game until it was released. Wasn't that one of the things they had?
It might have been, yeah.
Or you can't. The people that did get to play a somewhat of a demo, they weren't allowed to say anything about it because they probably did come up with some glitches while they were playing it. Like, oh, wait, what?
Yeah,
that's kind of shady though. Like, I don't know how I feel about that. That you get to those video game reviewers that get to play the game ahead of time. That's not beta for us. It's like more like in-house secret. They're not allowed to say that the game is I guess it's what a disclosure thing. Like you can't really.
Well, yeah, they have like there's embargoes because they don't.
Yeah, some embargoes.
They have the right to put an embargo on something because they don't want their sales to be affected by what somebody says.
Of course, it will taint. It will taint the outcome of sales. Mm-hmm. I guess you could say, but it's kind of sad that if you know that the game is not completed and it's like about to launch in a couple of days, you have to wait until the official date to be like, oh guys, this may need a few updates.
Yeah, exactly.
But this is the importance of beta. That's why I believe a beta testing is not just for those testers that back in the day they used to pay a group of kids or a group of teenagers or adults, doesn't matter, playing like, let's say, Halo 2 or Halo 3 before it was released, before it was all this streaming stuff, or like staying at home and playing at your house, whatever the case that is. Mm-hmm. But you got to test the games, and then they had to give the feedback to the developers. Hey, this level's glitchy and all that stuff. Now we can be a part of that. So yeah, that's the part that I really am fascinated about the beta. Now you touch everything that's in beta, and you never tell me until after you played the beta. Hey, by the way, I played this. Oh, what's that? Oh no, there's no more beta codes. I'm sorry. That's you.
That is not me. That's a lie.
That is you.
That is not me. That's a lie.
But you probably get beta tests and be like, hey, you can invite a friend. You're like, I like to play solo.
Not true.
That is so true. You said it yourself.
You think that I just hoard beta codes that I don't give out?
I don't think. I know.
I do not do that. No.
Why you gotta be lying to me, man?
Look, the only time
sharing is caring.
Out of the games that I mentioned that I beta tested here recently, the one that I got 2 codes for was Lost Ark, and I donated the other one to a buddy of mine who was doing his 24-hour Extra Life charity stream last weekend.
Last weekend?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. I forgive you.
Thank you.
But I don't forgive you for the past ones, though. I think you should be sending us like group texts of, hey, there's a beta coming the next date, like this day right here. So that way we can be a part of, as a team, friendship, explore the same games together.
I tell you what, I will keep an ear to the ground, and if I hear that there's like multiple codes going out, I will let you know.
Thank you. You are the best. Well, what are your thoughts on these future betas? Like, is there any beta that you would like to try that's not out yet, or you're hoping?
The only one that I've requested that I haven't gotten yet is a sort of big MMO called Ashes of Creation.
Why are you doing MMOs, man? That's not safe.
I know. Well, I don't have like a super addictive personality.
I guess that's true. I don't know. MMO's time consuming.
It is. You're right. I'd have to like shove something else aside to make room for it. But that's the only one that I think that I really would want to jump into and play right now. But then again,
what is it? Explain to me, because I am illiterate when it comes to these.
Oh, so it looks a lot like that one New World that I played.
Okay,
but something about it just seems like it's more put together. I think it seems like there's a lot more fantasy to it, I think. So
ouch.
What?
More put together.
Maybe that's not the right phrase for it, but it's something. I don't know. Something about it. Just like in watching like dev diary videos of it and people streaming it and playing it, it seems kind of cool. So
I understand what you meant. I'm just giving you a hard time, but yeah, I know what you mean. It looks like it's more fantasy-esque. That's attracting you to it, right?
Yeah, and it's not so much about, I don't think it's going to be as much about like building a guild together and then the territory grab aspect that New World has. Like I think that's one thing that really turned me off from New World, is the idea of like controlling territory and all that stuff, and that just doesn't really appeal to me as much as going out and doing adventures with people. So
question for you, if they ever come out with an MMO VR, would you try it?
I don't know. It'd have to be It'd have to be if I was doing VR, it would have to be something sci-fi and futuristic.
Okay. Because you ever heard of that anime that kind of went weird, but it started out well? It was Sword Art Online. You ever heard of that?
Mm-hmm. I saw the first episode of it.
Okay, well, so you know the gist of it. I think that's a great concept of making a VR world, but obviously that was very ambitious. That was more like Ready Player One style, you know what I mean? Like you're immersed crazy.
So Star Citizen
without dying.
Star Citizen has a lot of crazy immersion in it. Like it has a lot of ambitious things that it's trying to do.
Okay.
There's even a point too where I think you can make sure your webcam is hooked to the game, and you can do like visual like communication, like the space version of FaceTime or whatever with each other.
Okay.
with your webcam, like it has your avatar's face on there, like your character's face.
Okay.
But the webcam picks up your actual face motions and it meshes those together.
That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. See, pretty soon we're just going to be in the game. That's going to be the next step, man. We got to go in the game.
Mm-hmm. And then we'll be like Ready Player One.
Ready Player One. That's the goal. That's the future.
Oh, that's the goal, huh? Okay.
That's the future, man. That is the next level. You know what's that, man? You can be Mario.
That sounds riveting to me. Yes.
That actually doesn't sound exciting at all.
It's not.
I would rather be Link. That sounds more exciting.
I don't want to be either of those.
How dare you? They're fun. Who would you want to? You want to be Bayonetta?
Hell no.
You're probably throwing up in the first minute.
Yeah, like I'm twirling in the air with guns on your hands and on your ankles.
Yeah, we'll be throwing up.
How did we get on the subject of MMOs from betas though? Oh, because we were talking about like Star Citizen. That's what it was.
Yeah. We'll Star Citizens, and what would you like to test out in the future?
Yeah. Is there any that you think you would want to test out in the future? Is there any game that pops up that you're like, man, I wish I had a crack at that before it comes out?
Man, I don't know anymore. I really don't know. When it comes to betas, it's usually multiplayer games that let you do the beta testing.
Mm-hmm.
I have not recalled any single player games, like storytelling games, that allow you to play a beta for it. But that would be cool if they come out as like, hey, by the way, we're making this very ambitious game. You get to try it out for like a couple of days. Let us know what you think. Let's say like if it's like, again, like I'm a huge fan of Metal Gear, so of course I'm going to say Metal Gear. But let's just say there's a game that's similar to a Metal Gear game and be like, hey, try it out. Let us know what you think. I'll be down with that.
You know, technically though, like Elden Ring is a single player game, and they did that. I mean, they were testing like the network capability of doing multiplayer with it, but I mean, it's technically a single player.
That is true. So I gotta take a look at that. It's just I don't know if I want to torture myself because it's made by those people that love you to get game overs. It's
definitely a game that, well, those games in general are designed just to kind of reteach you how to play and not button mash.
That's true. I guess I can try Elden Ring.
If you get a chance, I would highly suggest it. I really would. Now, you played Sekiro though, right?
No, I haven't played Sekiro. No. The reason why I seen a friend play it, and it was tormenting him and torturing him that he couldn't pass a certain level. And when I was seeing it, I was like, is this really a game? Like, this is for real? This is like, you have to be a ninja to play this game.
You have to be okay with dying a lot, yes. And you have to learn to not button mash and to just assume from the get-go that you're not strong enough to fight anything.
Yeah, I looked into it. I looked into that game and I wanted to jump on it. But then I found out what happens when you resurrect yourself, and that really bothers me.
Oh, you lose your stuff? Yeah.
Not only that, what you're doing to the world once you do that too.
Oh, you're talking about Sekiro?
Sekiro, yeah.
Oh, well, there's a way to fix that.
Okay, cool. Good to know. You can tell me that later.
Yeah.
That messed me up. I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. I have a conscience.
No, there's just an item you can use to cleanse everything. It's fine.
Oh, Cool.
Because I worried about that too.
I guess I gotta try it out. I gotta try it out then. I'm just being hard-headed.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, you've got a couple months until Elden Ring, but if you have the opportunity over the holiday season to play Sekiro, I would highly suggest it because it's just Soulsborne enough to punish you, but it's very fast-paced, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like your character moves around a lot faster than in other Souls games, so you don't feel like you're weighed down. Like in Souls games, you're kind of weighed down.
Yeah, you're just rolling everywhere, trying to dodge.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, then that's gonna be on my list then.
All in. Well, this has been an interesting topic for the evening, even though we've had to pause several times. It's just
they don't know that. You don't have to tell them that. It went smooth, guys. No restroom breaks. No pets fighting with one another. None of that. No losing connection. I don't know what he's talking about.
Smooth as butter. But
smooth as butter.
We are getting real excited because we are slowly approaching the Game Awards. That's like one of my favorite times of the year. So I think what we might do is we might hold off on telling the people who we nominate until the night of.
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, well, not who we nominate, but like who we pick, or like our picks. We'll probably like my thought on it was like we'll spend maybe the first 45 minutes leading up to the show just kind of discussing our picks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we can probably start betting on who's gonna win. Make it fun.
Betting? Oh no!
Yeah, we're gonna be betting and be like, you know what? I will give you.
Are you gonna bet me in like Zelda rupees? Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, so about to say I'm gonna give you Mario coins, but Zelda rupees works too. It's like, oh wait, you can't cash these? Aw.
I bet you 20 Solid Snake cardboard boxes.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. But guys, thank you for listening to us ranting. This is random stuff, and because we're random. And this is XP Galore, and you know where to find us. Marcus, where can they find us again?
They can find us on Twitter and Instagram and TikTok at XP Galore, as well as the audio version of this podcast, which will be on xpgalore.buzzsprout.com. So feel free to find us on all the platforms and follow us if you aren't already. We always appreciate the love from each and every one of you.
Yes, and as we post these videos, we'll improve the quality. And since we've been moving back and forth, a lot going on in our personal lives. But we'll get there. We'll get there, and we're gonna start creating more content eventually. It's just fun, man. This is all fun. Just hanging out with friends, chatting about randomness.
Rob's gonna start selling feet pics.
Yep. Pretty soon, feet pics. It's gonna be Hero of Time feet pics, so you guys can vote. Ginger Thrust is gonna throw his in there too.
No, I'm not.
Then we're gonna. Oh, let's play guessing game. Whose foot is who?
No. I feel like they'll be able to tell.
Don't say.
I think they'll be able to tell. They can't tell. I think skin tone might play a factor into this.
We can just put like sepia colors or black and white.
Oh, okay. Just take all the color out of it.
Yeah, let's just invert the colors too. Let's just do like invert colors.
Oh, like or
we can make a puzzle too. Like we can cut our toes and stuff like that, and they got to put it together.
This has gone off the rails.
That got really weird. But hey, guys, love you. Take care. Be safe, and we'll be catching you next time. Bye.
Have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.